Concord is a game that will go down in history as one of the biggest flops in the gaming industry. The game hasn't even been out for a month, and now PlayStation announced its shutdown on September 6th due to historically low sales numbers from any game in their catalog. But why? What caused this game to flop as hard as it did? What happened to Concord? Before we start, remember to subscribe. I talk about video games on this channel in an analytical style, so if you like those kind of videos, feel free to join our community. I also live stream from time to time right here on this YouTube channel, so if you want to come hang out, crack some jokes, or discuss stuff, come join us sometime. If you can't make it to those streams live, feel free to subscribe to my second channel, RatedEm Live. I upload all the best moments from my live streams onto there. With all of that out of the way, let's jump into the video. The story of Concord starts with its initial reveal in July. During a PlayStation State of Play, the game was revealed with a very interesting cinematic trailer. I vividly remember watching this with Wright, and we both thought this was going to be some sort of Guardians of the Galaxy-esque RPG game. But turns out, the trailer was extremely unrelated to the actual game. Concord turned out to be another team-based hero shooter, and the whole gaming community let out a collective groan. Another hero shooter in 2024 was something that nobody asked for. A majority of competitive games on the market right now are hero shooters, and I think the gaming community is a little tired of them. Overwatch 2, Valorant, Apex Legends, Battlefield 2042, Valve's new game Deadlock, and Rainbow Six Siege are all probably games you play or you know someone who plays them. And in the coming months, we have Fragpunk and Marvel Rivals on the way. So adding another one to the already saturated pool was on nobody's bingo card. People lamented their frustrations online, and the developers tried their best to crowd control the situation. However, their efforts weren't enough. Not a single good thing could get said about this game, and God forbid if you actually did think it was cool, you were asking to be made fun of online. For a while, Concord was the laughingstock of the gaming community. But then on August 23rd, the game fully released. And even after the game's launch, it didn't just struggle to garner an audience. The audience was so small that it was almost as if it didn't even try. But why? Why did nobody try the game out? What if Concord was actually a really fluid and well-made game? Why didn't people see what it was all about? Well, I think that there's a handful of reasons as to why. The first reason is that Concord was a $40 expense. Most hero shooters, such as Overwatch or Valorant, are completely free to play, and they make their bank off of cosmetics. Other games are priced relatively low, like Rainbow Six Siege, which is often on sale and even on Xbox Game Pass. Concord wasn't easy to access. If it was free, I think more people would have at least given the game a try, even if they didn't have interest in it. But because so many people already had low interest in the game, they didn't want to shell out their hard-earned cash on a game that they probably won't enjoy. Another reason was marketing. The game was announced, but nothing else was really heard outside of backlash from the community and the developers trying to fight against it. The aesthetic isn't anything unique either. I think they were trying to go for a Starfield, Guardians of the Galaxy, sort of 50s, 60s retro future aesthetic, but notice how I already mentioned two properties that already carry that kind of aesthetic. The character designs are laughable as well. Nobody wants to get attached to these characters. I think there's a few that look cool, like I personally really like the look of Lennox and Amari, but look at Kips. People want to play as cool looking characters, and that's why a lot of people buy into cosmetics in other games. Nobody wants to play as Kips, who looks like they just walked out of a boathouse. The design of the character Roka is a character design that I hope to God gets brought up on Judgment Day when the designer dies. This shit just looks unfinished. I'm all for having a small character with a big weapon or vice versa, but this character just looks like the rest of the clothing or armor just hasn't loaded in properly. One other reason, which honestly opens up a bigger discussion about the games industry, is timing. Concord was in development for 8 years. Back in 2016, Overwatch and Titanfall 2 were the two new big games. A year earlier, Rainbow Six Siege was released, and even Black Ops 3 had hero shooter elements in it. My point being, hero shooters are an old trend now. Concord was conceptualized around this time, but it would release 8 years after the hype. The whole Battle Royale trend came and went in the time of this game's development. The bigger picture here is that games are taking way too long to develop. Publishers and CEOs are asking too much of development teams, and it's causing problems like this, where a game gets worked on for so long, but by the time it releases, it's irrelevant on day one. So what does all of this mean, and why am I bringing up all of this to begin with? Well, announced only after 2 weeks of being on store shelves, Concord will be shutting down as of September 6th. Anyone who has purchased the game and would like a refund is entitled to one by PlayStation. I honestly think that to fix this, they could have just made the game free. I think more people would have tried it out and maybe could have changed their minds. But now, Concord is a big, nasty stain on PlayStation's catalog. So what's the moral of the story here? Bully big companies. No, seriously, we can't let people with millions just create this slop content and expect us to buy into it. And because of flops like this is why we see so many people in the games industry lose jobs, yet the reason as to why always falls on the people doing the firing. If we can get publishers to let developers work on games that they actually want to work on, we'll get better games, we'll get less people fired, and stronger development teams, which all means better games in the future. If we let uninteresting garbage like Concord slide, PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo are all going to think it's okay to repeat this process over and over and over. So, bully big companies when you can. It's good for our environment. Oh, and tip your waitresses. I just thought I'd bring up another good life habit while we're on the topic of it. And hey, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, feel free to leave a comment as I try to reply to as many as I can. If you want to check out more videos, you can do so here, as well as check out RatedEm Live, which is where I upload the best moments from all of my live streams. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.